Hello, everyone. Thanks for listening to Wake Up, Look Up, a podcast where we connect events happening in real time to the gospel of Jesus Christ. I'm Zach Weihrauch. And in this episode, we're asking the question, is mommy drinking too much? This was prompted by an article in the Wall Street Journal recently by a woman named Erica Anderson, who was talking through her own struggle with what I think she would describe as functional alcoholism for mothers. She talks about how she was using alcohol to decompress and to relieve her stress until she realized that she was drinking a bottle of wine a night up to 3 or 4 times a week. Now, Erica is since sober and is now commenting on the state of middle-aged women drinking because the numbers are overwhelmingly telling us it's on the rise. Like, for example, let me just hit you with some of these stats. The number of women who have died due to alcohol-related issues in the last 5 years is up 34%. If you look at women between the ages of 40 and 64, and don't look at death, just look at alcohol-related hospital visits, the number is up 56%. 1 in 5 women overdrink based on the U.S. standards of what is an acceptable amount of alcohol to drink, which, by the way, the U.S. is way higher than Europe or Australia or other Western countries. So we're already at a high standard. 1 in 5 women are over drinking that standard. In fact, the number of women drinking 5 drinks in a row within a 2-week period is growing almost double the rate of men drinking the same amount in the same time period. Another way of saying this is that women, particularly middle-aged women, particularly mothers, are drinking more than they ever have. And this is a problem. It's also a problem not a lot of people are talking about. It's also a problem that you see advertised in a number of places as we see aprons and t-shirts calling wine mommy juice and saying it's wine o'clock, book clubs, paint and sips. There are a lot of efforts to get women drinking and they're working. And it's a problem for a couple of reasons. The Bible tells us that drunkenness is never okay. That's because drunkenness is putting yourself under the control of something other than God. No matter who you are when you've had too much to drink, whether you're angry or quiet, depressive or jubilant, you're going to end up doing something you regret, hurting yourself or hurting someone else. As Christians, we should never be putting ourselves under the control of anyone other than God. But it's also a problem because alcohol usage that is excessive tends to mask what's really going on. Erica talks about in her article about how her drinking was to deal with stress. But of course, alcohol isn't dealing with stress. It's just kicking the can down the street. Instead of thinking about how stressed you are or dealing with practical real world solutions, you're just taking your mind off of it into such a state that you don't think about it that night. And then when you wake up the next day, the stress is still there and you're hungover. You're not in a better place. It's also keeping us from going other places with our stress. Like, for example, as Christians, turning to God instead, going to God in prayer and acknowledging that what we can't control, He does. It keeps us from opening up into real friendships with people who can give us real counsel and encouragement and support. It's probably keeping us also from tangible action, which will actually change our circumstances and lead us to actual change instead of just delaying the anxiety to the next day. In other words, drinking excessively isn't good for anyone, but it's especially not good for women who are doing it at a higher rate. Not to mention the fact that mom is often the pillar of the family. We're all leaning on her. And if she's not doing well, none of us are doing well. So maybe this episode is a wake-up call to you. Are you drinking too much? Is it time for you to get help? Listen, in the church, I hope that for women who say, hey, I might have a problem here, we're not going to be a place of shame or judgment or guilt, but a place of hope, a place of healing, and I hope a place of increasing sobriety. Hey, thanks so much for watching this video. While you're here, we'd love to ask you to hit subscribe or to like so you get future content. If you listen to the audio version too, make sure you leave a review and a comment. That really helps. Consider sharing it on social media and helping us get the word out. And hey, while you're here, check out all the other content that Christ Community Chapel is putting out, including the videos that are around me right now.